the ark is actually built little too low. So when he tries to pass through it, it touches his crown. When it comes to the architect says, I do ordain that you shall be hanged, my king. Yes, you heard me right. He was just and placid. He was always towards justice and he was very calm in nature. That's what we know about him. Hello and a warm welcome to your prep school English classes. I am your English teacher, Kshama. In this session today, we are going to look at the only poem and the last poem from your textbook Snapshots, named as The Tale of Melon City. It is a story put in a ballad format written by Vikram Seth. Let's waste no time and dive in to understand what is this poetry about. Let's enjoy this poem. It is going to be a very funny poem, okay, but has a very deep message in it. So we are heading forward to discover or decode what is the message that is there in this poem. So without wasting any time, in this session we are going to understand who is the poet of this particular poem and what has he written about, what is the background, the entire summary and line by line analysis of the particular poem. Okay, so who is Vikram Seth and what do we know about him? He is an Indian novelist and a poetry writer. He has written a lot of Indian novels as well as has poetry collection. Okay, he is an Indian novelist, has written several novels and poetry books, and he has also received plenty of awards such as the Padma Shri Award, Sahitya Akademi Award. Okay, these have been listed over here: the Padma Shri Award, Sahitya Akademi Award, the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman, which is over here as you can see, the W.H. Smith Literary Award, as well as the Crossword Book Award. He has received plenty of awards as we can list over here. Out of many of his work, the two notable poetry collections that have been like the contribution to the Indian English literature are Mappings, the first one over here as you can see, and then the Beastly Tales. These two poetry collections are literally the contribution or rewards to the field of Indian English literature. That's what we know about Vikram Seth. Now let's understand this poem which lasts for about 4 pages is actually very simple to read, very enjoyable. I would highly recommend you to just go grab your textbook, keep it next to you as we proceed with this session. Now how does the poem start? It's The Tale of the Melon City by Vikram Seth. Okay, how does it start? In the city of which I sing, okay, in the city of which I sing, there was a just and placid king. The city or the place that I am talking about, there used to be a king. And how was his nature? What was his nature? He was just and placid. He was always towards justice and he was very calm in nature. That's what we know about him. Then, what did he do one day? He did something. He wanted something to happen. What is that something? Now, the king proclaimed an ark should be constructed that triumphantly. Now one day, the king decides that there should be an ark that should be built. And what does he do about it? And why are we building this ark? He decides that then there should be an ark in order to edify the spectators, in order to, uplift them, to teach them, don't know what. Now over here, although the poem seems very simple and going in a very smooth flow, who do we know about in the poem? There is a king, okay, who is just and placid, who is calm and always towards justice and truth, correct? Now, what does he want to do in order to uplift the people, educate the people? He wants an ark to be built. Very simple till here. Now, when he wants the ark to be built, he calls the people for it, whoever is responsible, whoever is going to carry forward it for him. Now, they build the ark for him. It is done. Okay, they do not think of the fact that why should it be built, what is the reason behind it, what good will it do for the people or for all of us. They do not think of anything. In a way, the poet is he not, trying to criticize the fact that in the monarchy system where kingship is, there and the king is everything, whatever the king says or whatever one individual says, it's ultimate. He is kind of mocking at the monarchy, is it not? The people are not looking at the fact that or thinking about why should an ark be constructed? What is the necessity behind it? The king said, okay, we are going to do it. Let's do it. The ark is done. Simple Now what happens after that? To edify the spectators, the just and placid king decides to build an ark. Then the king asks the workmen to build it, of course. The ark is built, but it is built too low. When the king goes there to check it by himself, to see how the, the people over there or the spectators are being edified by the ark, he encounters a different scenario that he did not expect. The ark is actually built a little too low. So when he tries to pass through it, it touches his crown. Okay? Then, crown is lost. It falls down since the ark is too low. Then, frown on a placid face. Now, it's very contradictory to the king's nature. It has been mentioned that the king is placid, that he is calm in nature. Over here, we see a sudden shift in the calm nature of the king. So, is he truly calm? Or is he just, being told so by the poet or by the people or thought about so? Then, there is a persistent rhyme scheme that you see. Entire poem is in couplet form. There are two lines each. And in those 2 lines, you see rhyming words, persistent rhyming words. Sing, king, be, triumph, flee. Okay? Then, moving on. We know that the king has asked to build an ark. The ark is built, but it is too low. And now the calm king has lost his calm and cool. And then what does he do about it? Moving forward, the king decides that, okay, who is he? He is the one who stands for justice, truth. Now he decides that building an ark so low is such a crime that whoever is responsible for it should be executed. He says, yes, that is what he decides. It's ironically funny enough, right? Then he calls, who is the first one that he calls? He calls the chief builders who are responsible for the building. He says, chief builders should be hanged, he says. But when the chief builders are, brought and when he was about to be hanged, then he says, no, all the workmen are responsible for it. Then the king says, okay, if the workmen are responsible for it, let them be hanged. Let's hang them. Then the workmen say, they point towards who? They point towards the masons. It is them who did not do the bricks in the correct size, or it is their problem. They did not supply to us proper bricks. Then let's hang them. You see the, inconsistency or the uncertainty, the lack of an autonomy the king is having over here. He does not know or can't decide over the fact that who is responsible for it. Or think about the fact that is execution such a grave punishment, a solution to building an ark so low? That's all. The only mistake that has been done is building the ark low. What is the punishment? Execution straight away. Look at the inconsistency, the lack of autonomy, the lack of decision making the king is showing over here. Then, when he orders the chief builders to be executed, the chief builders point towards who? The workmen. The workmen again in turn point towards who? The masons. The masons finally said, sir, we have done only what the architect has asked us to do. So it's the architect who should be hanged. Now at last, when it comes to the architect says, I do ordain that you shall be hanged, my king. Yes, you heard me right. Now the architect says, when I showed you the final sketching of this ark, you are the one who made certain changes in it. Now don't you think you should be the one who should be punished? And then when it is the king's turn, when all the fingers were now pointing towards who? The king. The king was like, okay, now I can't definitely make the decision. Then he says, it's a tricky thing. Something should be done about it. What should be done about it? A council should be called. Then a council was called, and there was a wise man. He could not even come to the council meeting by himself. He had to be bought. He was so old. Now here, the poet is actually, talking about or bringing the fact that does age define, somebody being clever or somebody being wise? Is it interrelated? Somebody who is young is not wise? Is that how it is? It is generally how it is believed in the society, right? But he is pointing his finger towards that and making us question that too, right? What does this wise old guy do now? The wise old guy says, Arch is the one who knocked the crown off. So who should be punished? The ark should be punished. Yes, the wise old man is in turn again incapable of making a just or a reasonable decision, and irrational as it may sound, he says, let's punish the ark. That's what the wise man has to say. Then there comes the counselor who was not in the picture till now, who was inadequate to give any, suggestions till now. He comes in the picture and says, how shameful that we are punishing the ark that touched the king's crown. It's shameful. We can't do that. It's so pure and wonderful now. We can't punish that. It's inanimate. It doesn't have life. But the counselor says, how can we hang so shamefully the crown that touched your head, my king? How can we do that? Such a silly advice again. Then it's not wise enough to intervene. Was he not wise enough to intervene earlier that he's coming now in the picture? Then the crowd was restless. Amidst all this discussion that was going on, everybody's pointing towards the other person, and then suddenly the architect points towards the king, and the wise man says, hang the culprit, that is the ark, for instance, do that at least. Then there is counselor. Amidst all this, what does the crowd wish? The crowd wants somebody to be hanged right now. And the king notices this. Then we can't postpone this going on considering one thing after the other, the king says. Then the nation wants hanging as soon as possible. Let us give it to them. So what is the solution now? The noose or the thread which we use to hang a person, which is used to hang a person, it was tied at a certain length, okay, at a certain height. Then what was to be done about it? Whoever matches that, the height of the noose, will be hanged. Even again, this is a very, stupid, not a practical decision over here. A stupid idea after all. He fitted. We don't know who fitted. One man. There was only one man who fitted this height of the noose. That was all. And now he will be hanged. You want to know who? It is the king. His Majesty will be hanged. And therefore, since he was the one who fitted the length, he was hanged. There was no thinking about it. How foolish does it sound, right? The ministers thanked the God. Thank God we could find somebody that fitted the height of the noose. And the hanging was carried out. Otherwise, the entire, state or the people in the country would have turned against the throne, against the king. Now, is it so big? People turning against the king just because there was no hanging. Is it so big? You could have convinced them. Now, where is the king to convince them, right? So the practical men pondered again. Now the king is gone. Who will be the next king? Let's think about it. The next to pass the gate, they made another practical, amazing plan. When I say amazing, now that you have come with me till now, you know it could be a wonderful, stupid idea coming right through. Then the next to pass the city gate, the next to enter through the gate into the city or into the country will be the one who will select the next king. Again, how stupid. As I told you, I had told you to be ready for such stupid thing, right? Now, whoever that comes out of the city, how will they know about the people in the city? What is required for the people to take care of the people? They will not know anything, right? Imagine this entire poem in the actual context where we are living, where we don't know who we are selecting, what they are going to do for the people, the leaders, for instance, okay? And what are the rationality or the reasons behind the certain decisions that they are making. We are so unaware of everything, right? It feels like Vikram Seth is not just giving us a silly poem to read and enjoy. It feels like he is pointing at us. He is putting us under the spotlight and making us question our decisions and our choices that we are making, right? Then, he will be the one who will choose the ruler, the one who comes inside the gate, city gate. Then who came inside? There is an idiot. An idiot is somebody who is, who doesn't know what to do, what he is doing, or he is basically not wise or smart, okay? An idiot passes inside and all the guards scream, hey, wait, you are supposed to choose our king right now. Choose it, do it right now. And the idiot, he actually liked melons, okay? So he said, Melon will be the king. Guess what? They made a melon an actual king, okay? A melon was crowned and carried. The decision was made. But the citizens, when the poet asks the citizens, do you not have any issue with the fact that you have a melon as your king? The response given by the citizens is again baffling. Okay, they say, let the king be whatever he wants to be as long as he leaves us in peace. He lets us do whatever that he wants us to do. Let him be a melon or whatever that he wants to be. That's how our poem ends. Okay. It was a very short, very funny seeming poem, but with a lot of messages in it. That's what poetry does to us, right? It all seems very fine and loving and, funny until you decode the actual message in it. I hope you enjoyed this poem. Go write your own poems about a tale of, Mango City, or whatever that you could connect the ideas with and bring out an actual message with it. If you are able to do it, you have succeeded with your art of poetry writing. I'll be waiting to see and read all of those. On that note, I'll see you all in the next class. Thank you.